Welcome back to Pitso here on SABC High. Now, every act has an outcome in a form of a result. Results are defined as the outputs or impacts of development interventions, with each element contributing to the next. That is what the 2023 matriculates were doing last year, planting seeds for them to come have the results of their hard work. Tomorrow is the day most South Africans have been waiting for, the day of results of matriculants. Now in studio, we are now joined by a student councillor from UNISA, Mamashu Maboa, to help us understand what happens before, during and after matriculates receive their results. Hi Mamashu, and welcome to Pitso here on SABC High.
Thank you so much, Chelsea.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
I'm good. So earlier, before we started with this discussion, you were just explaining broadly what anxiety is. Can you please just paint a picture to the viewers at home? What really is anxiety?
Anxiety, I will just give it, a normal kind of an explanation where someone can actually just be able to understand. It's just an extreme fear of something, and especially when you are in waiting, you don't know the outcome, and you just feel anxious. You just feel this abnormal feeling, yes, whereby you don't really get to understand where you are situated, where you are seated with your emotions. One moment you become a little bit relaxed, and then the next, then you just become anxious, and you just feel like your world is crumbling on you. That's basically what I will say. It's anxiety yes.
And how can students maybe deal with anxiety in terms of their academic route?
Yeah, I would say, with anxiety, it's something that can actually have its own advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, it's when you are now waiting, or let me say you are writing your exams, you're about to write your exams, and it pushes you to do the work. It pushes you to work harder. But then when it becomes so abnormal and it paralyzes you, you can't even do something, then that's where the disadvantage is, because you won't be able to do anything. So in this case, whereby the learners are here and waiting for their matric results, I think the best way to be able to deal with it is just to relax and actually think about the positives. Try by all means not to think much of what worse can happen in this kind of situation.
And how can parents support their kids in a time like this?
Yeah, that one is, I think it's a heavy thing. Parents expect a lot from their kids, and throughout the year, I would say they have been trying to support. But then with anxiety and with the feeling of wanting to be proud of their kids, and it's not only one kid, it's entire, maybe let's say entire matric class, whereby everybody knows who is who, and then now the parents will feel like, I don't want my kid to be to fail, or I don't want them to be in a space whereby they are not copied. So they want to have that moment of being proud. But then in most cases we forget that anything can happen. The kids have tried to work, and they have tried to do their best throughout the year, but now is that time whereby they don't know the outcome. In most cases they will be like, okay, I've done my best and I'm just waiting for the examiners and whoever take care of the results to do the rest. So now the parents are sitting there anxious as well, because it's their kids after all. They want to see them succeeding, but then, like I said, they tend to forget what could happen and what might happen. So what is important for them is just to support their kids, make sure that they are there for them, and presently so, because this is not only about the parents, but it's mostly about the kids. They are the ones that are feeling this anxiety more than anyone else. So the parents will just have to be there for their kids, ensure them that whatever the outcome, they are still there, they still have another chance to continue or to start all over. It's not the end of the road for them. And leave this thing of comparing the kids. One thing that also demotivate or also give children stress. It's parents being in the position of wanting to now compare bana. So now it becomes very scary. And when your mother or your father keep on saying, but so and so is doing better than you, why are you doing this? I've given you enough money, I've given you enough this and that, I've bought you so many books, but so and so is still better than you. What is it that you're doing at school that other kids are not doing?
And maybe that's also one of the reasons where kids also fall into this whole spirit of having anxiety and feel depressed just because of the comparison, parents comparing them to other kids.
Of course.
Now, in a situation of kids have applied to different institutions where they want to go to, but looking at the results, some got their results today, but some are getting their results tomorrow. So you might find that maybe a child did not reach the requirements of that particular institution that they want to go to, or maybe they did not reach the marks to study what they want to study. What advice can you give to the learners?
When we go for the community outreaches, community engagement, we always try to advise the learners to apply to as many institutions as possible, because you might find that a certain qualification at this certain institution wants this number of APS scores with a mark of so and so for English or for physical science or for mathematics, and then the other institution wants something else. So when the child have made an informed career decision, have chosen the qualification, it's easier for them to apply to this institution and the next, so that if they don't take them on this one, then they can be able to go on the next. And then the other thing is that the institutions give the learners 2 or 3 options to choose from. So it's also very much important for the learners to try to choose the 3 that they feel like, even if I don't make it in this one still stand a chance, and this one, yes, it's there, but it's not there, but at least you can do something out of it. So in a case whereby maybe they don't really meet the requirements at all, it's not the end of the road. If they need to upgrade their matric results, they can do that. And if the institutions also offer a lower qualification in a form of bridging course, they can also start there and not be with this mentality of saying, I want to do a degree, even though they don't qualify for the degree. And also, sometimes people feel like taking a year gap is a bad thing, but it's not always the case, because in that 1 year of a gap year, it also gives you an opportunity to reflect on your way forward, reflect on the things that you want to do going forward. Yes.
That's very true. I feel like this was a very informative conversation, especially coming from you as a student councillor from UNISA. Thank you so much for your time here on Pitso.
Thank you so much, Sissy. Thank you. And I wish all the learners good luck, and I'm hoping that they make it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Mama Shu Maboa, a student councillor from UNISA, helping us to understand what happens before, after, and when matriculants receive their results. Welcome back to Pitso. Now, parents of learners at Dingake Primary School in Verdval near Lichtenburg in Northwest have welcomed the inclusion of breakfast as part of the National Schools Nutrition Program. The provincial government added breakfast meals to the school nutrition program, which initially only offered lunch to counter the effects of poverty and hunger on children of school-going age. The area made headlines in 2011 after 4 children died due to starvation and dehydration. They were walking a long distance to find their mother and sister, who had gone out to search for food. Setleng and Tumelo Sitlapetsi compiled this following report.
Breaking the cycle of hunger for learners, this with the provision of at least 2 meals a day to ensure that they are well nourished and fully energized to focus during lessons. Parents here have welcomed this initiative.
This breakfast is going to help them keep balanced until lunch, and the child will also be able to concentrate after eating breakfast, because many of them leave home without eating breakfast. There are a lot of impoverished families, and many children leave home on an empty stomach and get sick at school and vomit only water.
Over 300 schools across the province are expected to benefit from this intensified program to serve meals to learners from less privileged communities.
This is one of the schools that was identified to say that out of 1,375 schools across the province, this must be one of the schools that must provide now breakfast, because they've been receiving lunch. Now they are receiving breakfast. And you know the background of Rodwal, you know the background of Ituseng. Remember that story, 2011, if I'm not mistaken, where there were 4 learners or 4 children who died from starvation because of the background and so on. So the Department of Education, we are trying our level best to close gaps.
Over 740,000 learners in the province benefit from the National Schools Nutrition Program. Sintle Inglihihi, SABC News, Verdwaal near Lichtenburg.
Staying on school nutrition, as we all know, children have went back to schools. So it's important to know what our children eat on a daily basis and if the food they are eating is healthy enough. Now, today via Zoom, we have Ms. Mandla Mabunda from Masana Dietitians. She will be unpacking more for us on how to feed our children healthy food. Hi, Ms. Mabunda, and welcome to Pitso here on SABC Lihaye.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, we all know that during festive seasons, children eat whatever they want, especially sweet things. Since now they went back to school, how can you make sure that your child goes back to the routine of eating healthy stuff?
Okay, as we know, Christmas season is a jolly season. Everyone almost forgets that, you know what, we still need to be healthy even during Christmas, and we tend to eat whatever, including our children. The best way is to start giving them more water so that they can start flushing out the system. So in that way, you set them up for when they need to go back to the standard healthy routine that they need to follow when going back to school.
Now, when it comes to preschool kids, we know that they cook for them, and maybe just to get a picture, do the people from preschools, like the teachers and the leading people, do they maybe have a guide to know what type of foods to feed children that are healthy?
So I know with the National School Feeding Program, School Nutrition Program, they normally, via the Department of Health, they actually train the food handlers from the different schools that are actually providing the meals. So they should really know the basics of a child needing the 5 food groups, being the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats and oils, and the vitamins, including water, so that they can focus and they can grow nicely and they can pass even their education levels, yes. So they should be knowing how to actually prepare healthy meals for their kids. Is that happening? That is what I don't know if it's currently happening. But yes, they should be having that.
Now, as a parent, what type of food or snacks can you pack for your children that is healthy enough for them to just snack in between?
Okay, so like I've already touched on this, we all need, for us to be considered healthy and eating a healthy diet, we all need the carbohydrates, we all need protein, we all need fats and oils, and we need vitamins and minerals. So the types of snacks that one would need should be coming from that and should be the healthy choices. So these, we are talking about fruits and vegetables as snacks. We can use raw carrots, for example. You can pack an apple with your lunchbox, or you can even give them dried vegetables such as beetroot, which a lot of children tend to tolerate in its dry format than in its when it's cooked or anything like that. So there's a lot of creativity that parents need to actually start putting into their lunchbox packing traditions so that the kids are able to still maintain a healthy diet while they're still at school.
Ms. Mabunda, we know that kids love sweet things. Maybe just as a guidance, how much sugar intake can they have per day?
Okay, so kids loving sweet things is one thing, but parents continuously packing things that are high in sugar in their lunch boxes, then that is a no-no. I'm hoping that there's a parent out there who's listening who is going to reduce the amount of juices that they are packing for their children. They'll reduce the amount of sweets that they're packing in the lunch boxes of their children. Because you know what? A child less than 2 years of age should not have any sugar stuff added to their food. So no sugar added to any of their food if they're less than 2 years of age. And any child above 2 years of age, the maximum amount of sugar they can have in a day is 25 grams, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons. So if you think about it and think about all the things that the kids are eating, it's way more than 2 tablespoons. And the danger of that is that, number one, the immune system of the child now gets very compromised. If they are at a crash setting, you'll start seeing your child, they get sick more often, they have issues with digestive problem. Wana comes home with a sore tummy, wana watlatsa, wana all comes from a lot of sugar overload in their system. So sugar for children, I hope I'm talking to a parent out there, should not be something that you gladly give to a child. Sugary stuff should be just treats maybe once a week over the weekend and leading a small amount of sweet that you can give to your child.
Now, Ms. Mabunda, coming to vegetables, we know that most kids hate eating vegetables. Counting my younger self as well, I did not like eating vegetables when I was young. Now, how do a parent now convince maybe their 3-year-old child to start eating vegetables?
Yeah, so you know what? I honestly believe Banava, they take after us, most of us. So you sort of give that dislike of vegetables over to your child. And now you are told that you need to start feeding your child fruits and vegetables because they're healthy for them. So it means now as parents, we need to be extra creative. How do we do that? It means we need to give ourselves time to play with the vegetables. We need to cut shapes. We need to do moon faces. We need to, you know, chop carrots into sticks. And we need to cut apples in sizes that they like and they can chew. You know, we have to come up with a lot of different creativity around that. You can choose different colors because children are excited about seeing different colors. You need to play with different textures. And like I earlier said, more children tend to tolerate vegetables when they are in their dry format. So try drying your beetroot, for example, and just putting it like the biltong beetroot. They love eating that because it doesn't look like it's a food per se. So if you play with that, then you stand a better chance of getting your 3-year-old to start eating these vegetables.
That's very interesting, knowing that kids love very playful things, so that should help. But unfortunately with me, it was very tough when I was still young. But just the last question before we allow you to leave, how important is it for kids to eat healthy?
Sure, it's very important. Like I say, these 5 groups that I'm talking about is the basics that we should aim for as parents. When you're packing your lunchbox, look at, do I have carbohydrates because they get the energy from carbohydrates. So for them to be doing physical activity at school, they need to have energy, and they get that from carbohydrates. For them, they need to also have protein in their lunchbox, because protein makes them heal faster. So when they fall and they scratch themselves, they need protein to go and do repair. And then fats and oil plays a very big role in insulation and making sure that some of the nutrients get absorbed by the body. And vitamins and minerals, which we get from fruits and vegetables, make sure that when they are sick, they recover quickly, because they play a very big role in your immune system and building the immune system of a child. So if you look at it, you almost need all those 5 groups for your child to be healthy, for your child not to get sick often. There's nothing as frustrating as being called, you're at work, or ngwana is having diarrhea, or ngwana is, having all these things while at school. So for you to prevent that, you need to boost their immunity by the foods that you give them at home.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bamundra, for your time here on Pitso. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh, thank you so much. It's only a pleasure.
Now, that was Ms. Mandla Mabunda from Masana Dietitians, just unpacking more for us on how to feed our children healthy.